Hello, this is my author slash poet slash illustrator study, and it is over Judith Viorst. She can be known as everything. She's known as a poet, an author, a journalist, a psychoanalysis researcher, pretty much everything. It seems like she's done it all. She's best known for her humorous poetry and children's books, and she's also known for her adult books and discussing real life problems. And so Judith Viorst was born in Newark, New Jersey on February 2nd, 1931. She attended Columbia High School, where she graduated in 1948. In 1990, she was inducted into Columbia High School's Hall of Fame. After high school, she went to Rutgers University. She graduated from the Newark College of Arts and Sciences at Rutgers University, and she majored in history. And she graduated in 1952. 8 years later, in 1960, Judith married Milton Viorst, and they moved to Washington, D.C., where she continues to live. Her and Milton had 3 kids: Anthony, Nicholas, and Alexander. In 1968, Judith signed the Writers and Editors for Tax Protest, which was basically a pledge that people signed vowing to not pay taxes in protest of the Vietnam War. And so she was one of many different authors and editors and writers that signed that. And then she was an author and a poet for a long time, and after 20 years of doing that, she decided to study psychology. And it was specifically Freudian psychology, and she studied that at Washington Psychoanalytic Institute for 6 years. She became a research graduate associated with the Institute, and she started her career as a poet and an author, but is known now as a journalist and a psychoanalysis researcher and author, which is basically what I said earlier. She's done many different things in her lifetime, which I think is awesome. And then she writes poems and books for children, but she also writes for adults, and that is anywhere from nonfiction to fiction. She writes it all. And in 2011, Judith won the Four-Mother Award for Lifetime Achievement, which is a really cool award to win. And now she's 87 and she's retired, but she continues to lecture and attend different book festivals. So even though she's not writing anymore, she's still really involved with the writing community. So she has many different works. One of her most famous is Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And so that's one of her best known books, especially for children. She's also written The 10th Good Thing About Barney, Try It Again, Sam, Safety When You Walk. And then she's also written Super, Completely, and Totally the Messiest. And then The Goodbye Book. And My Mama Says There Aren't Any Zombies, Ghosts, Vampires, Creatures, Demons, Monsters, Fiends, Goblins, or Things. And so those are some of her books for children that she's read or that she's written. She also has written quite a few for adults. And so a couple of those are Yes, Married, A Saga of Love and Complaint, and People and Other Aggravations. And so that goes back to what I said earlier in my opening, that she's known for discussing real life problems and in those adult books. And so she's really good at that. Just being honest and open about everything. So some interesting facts. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day is her most famous book. Like I said, it's sold over 2 million copies, which is a lot. And then books like Alexander and the Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, and Sunday Morning, and I'll Fix Anthony, they were all based on her son. And actually, when Alexander found out that book was about him, he was not very happy, and she told him that she would take his name off of it if he wanted, and he decided that it was okay. He wanted his name on the book, which any kid would decide. In the beginning of Judith's career, she had many children's books turned down, and actually, when she was younger, Even when she was like 7 and 8, she wanted to get published, and she would send her little kid poems in, and they would get turned down, and she would be surprised, even when she was 7 or 8. So I think that's really cool that she wanted to do that at such a young age, and she actually was able to do it. She has many favorite children's authors, actually, including Silverstein, Dr. Seuss, and Elaine Konigsberg. So I read one of her interviews that she did, and she said that she has quite a few authors that she likes and that she shares with her kids and now grandkids. After moving to Washington, she took an editing job for Science Service, and and her first writing assignment was about space. And she went back to her husband, and she's like, I don't even know what space is. I don't know where it's at. And he was like, we'll figure it out. And so she actually wanted to turn down like her first writing assignment because she had no idea what to write about. But then early in her career, she was actually hired at the New York Herald Tribune, where she covered social events in Washington. And actually in 2014, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day was made into a motion picture by Disney, which I think was really cool because that's something that I guess a lot of people had said that they were going to do or that they wanted to do with the book, but they all decided not to. So she was actually really surprised when Disney followed through with it. And then one of the works I'm going to read of hers, I chose one of her poems. It's called First Day of School. It's not one of her most famous ones, I don't think, but I really like it. And so, here it goes. Will they let me go when I need to go to the bathroom? And what if I get lost on my way back to class? And what if the other kids are 100, 1,000 times smarter than I am? And what if we have a spelling test or a reading test or an anything test and I'm the only person who doesn't pass? And what if my teacher decides she doesn't like me? And what if all of a sudden a tooth gets loose? And what if I can't find lunch, or I sit on my lunch, or I drop my lunch someplace like the toilet? Will they let me starve, or will somebody lend me a sandwich, a cookie, a cracker, an apple, some juice? And what if they say, do this, and I don't understand them? And what if there's teams and nobody picks me to play? And what if I take off my sneakers and also my socks and my jeans and my sweatshirt and t-shirt and started the first day of school on the second day? And so that's by Judith Fiors, and I really like that because it's describing a lot of the kids. I know that a lot of kids are excited for their first day of school, but many just don't want to go. They're scared and they just don't know what to do, and so they're nervous. And so I really like that poem, and I think it's a good one to share with little kids. And then for my activity, I wanted to base it off of the Alexander books, which there's more than just the first one, but the Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I would have paper cut up into like a little book, and I would have them make their own story, but not about the worst day that they could have, their very best day. So what they would have for breakfast, just anything that makes their day the best day ever. Going to the park, going to see a movie, eating all the junk food they want, anything like that. And I would have them color it and make a cover page. So I think that would be a really cool activity. And you could even do it with like their worst day, everything they don't want to do. But I think that it would be really fun to see what all of them enjoy. So